What is going on there, guys, at YouTube? Brad the Game World here for more Mario Future Fight. An update dropped that a lot of people are not happy about. And from the way it sounds, I'm not exactly happy about it. But pretty much the first thing, like, a lot of things that happen, one of the main things that happen is that like 7 new characters, I believe, dropped. And this update is pretty much focused on the Inhumans again, which when I heard, like, when I first read it, I was like, oh, it's gonna focus on the Inhumans. That means that a lot of people are gonna get some tier 2 upgrades. Well, people did get tier 2 upgrades, but it wasn't the ones I was expecting. Well, it wasn't the ones I was hoping for or looking for when I read that. Because there's a lot of people that still lack tier 2 updates to this day. And they're down here at the bottom. Daisy Johnson, you have Daisy Johnson, Deathlock, Lincoln Campbell, and Phil Coulson. They're still lacking tier 2 updates, which that kind of limits how useful they can be in the game. They're still good. Like, they're still good characters to have, but it's like you're still lacking a lot of, we're still lacking that big power bonus potential that the other characters with tier 2 bonuses have. Also had a uniform update to, of course, the Inhumans. Well, not really the Inhumans, it really just is 3 characters. It's pretty much Black Bolt and his costume honestly looks pretty I don't like how his costume looks. I guess this was something that he wore. I never read, I don't really read comics, so I don't really know what goes on. Honestly, I have to say this costume is pretty and I easily can mistake him for I can mistake him for Bullseye, because Bullseye essentially has the same costume. Like, he pretty much has the same costume of wearing a suit. And Black Bolt already has a costume, but this one actually changes one of his skills. It also increases his damage for one attack by 120%. But and it changes the attack King's Order, which adds physical damage. I don't know what it does before, because I don't really run Black Bolt. Apparently the hypest one, which is also probably one of the more good-looking ones, is the Elsa Bloodstone Monsters Unleashed outfit, which, compared to Secret Wars Marvel Zombies, although I like the fact that she has these guns are bigger, and I'm not just talking about her boobs. I'm talking about her actual guns here. Like, the guns here are bigger, but in comparison, she has a new outfit, and I think it gives the same uniform bonus. Yeah, it gives the same uniform bonus as the other one, except this one actually changes up her skills. Which apparently she also got another buff, where when she uses No Mercy, she's completely invulnerable during its animation. Which that can probably shoot her up to the broken tier. All last night when I had the game booted up and I was seeing what the changes were, I was seeing a lot of people's names come up across the board saying Elsa Bloodstone has been This person has ranked up Elsa Bloodstone to 6-star. This person has ranked up Elsa Bloodstone to tier 2. Like, I was seeing a ton of that. But at the same time, everyone on Reddit was complaining, and I'll get into the reason why that's been going on in a second. And another new uniform that has occurred is, well, another new uniform is somebody that hasn't had one, is the Kamala Khan Miss Marvel outfit. And it basically will increase all speeds by 10% and increase her HP by 20%, which she probably needs. I never really played Kamala Khan. I was like, I don't really see the reason why I should. But she also gets a change in one of her skills. But that's not what I wanted to really view for this part of the video. What I wanted to view was the brand new characters that showed up into the game, which is Moon Girl, Karnak, Gorgon, Inferno, Crystal, Maximus, and Dormammu. Like, oh my god, Dormammu. But as soon, like, when I saw that Dormammu was getting released, I got excited. But there's a problem behind Dormammu. There is a small problem with Dormammu, and I'll get into that in a second. Anyway, let's actually preview the characters. First, we have Moon Girl here, which she's pretty much like, she's just a small child, but she's supposed to be the smartest person on Earth, and she's a human and inhuman hybrid. Like, she also has this ability to, like, she open the world to the dinosaur world, which I honestly have to say, like, maybe it's the Savage Lands. I want to say it's the Savage Lands, not just Dinosaur World, because I mean, Savage Lands was essentially Dinosaur World anyway. But she befriended a T-Rex named Devil Dinosaur, and basically they switch minds. They basically switch minds and when they get into combat. So you have like this huge dinosaur or this little girl that is able to fight. Her team bonuses, like, she can work with the Hulks, which is rather interesting. She works with the Hulks, which is rather interesting, and she works with some of the newer characters. So you can pair her up with Bruce Banner Hulk and Amadeus Cho Hulk, and get the Brains and Brawn bonus, which the Hulks do need. The Hulks do need the movement speed boost and the attack speed boost, along with cooldown duration. And then you'll get the Meet My Little Friend boost, which will increase the critical rate and critical damage. But going over her skills, her leader passive is already something to consider, because once she's maxed out, it increases all attack by 36%, which is a lot for someone like her, and for whoever your team is, especially if you're running Hulks. Oh my god, that kind of damage. Then you have her own passive, which her first one is the Devil Dinosaur, which I think this is kind of a thing that's going on with this game, is that, well, for this update, is that they're focusing on illusions, or really just helper partner characters. And this one, you summon an illusion that has 120% of the summoner's stats, or really you summon another character that has 120% of her stats. And then her tier 2 passive, should you manage to pull that off, increases all debuff effects by 15% and duration by 20%. Oh god, 25% increase to all attacks and defenses of summoned characters. So that means basically the dinosaur that she'll summon will get a even greater increase. 10% increase to HP and 10% duration of summoned characters. Increases skill damage by 20% and bonus damage by 15%. Oh dear God. Then you have and her skills are pretty much going to be it. She's pretty much I guess you could say BlazBlue's Carl or Relius, where they have where it's two characters in one, and they have to work together. Or Ice Climbers from Smash Brothers. She has her first attack, Air Raid Siren, applies silence, which you don't really see too much of in this game. I think only Wasp is able to do, was only able to inflict silence status, which silence status, of course, as it sounds, if you're an RPG buff, you're not allowed to use abilities. And then her second one, Taser Punch, inflicts stun. What the heck? And you can add lightning damage and shock status effect. And then you have Soda Bomb, decreases speed and increases her critical rate. Then you have Moonbeam, which adds to all enemies a 35. You throw on them a 35% chance to miss on their attacks. And then you have Bubble Pop, which is what? Applies to enemies. You bind them so they can't run away. What the heck? Anyway, let's actually look at the skills. Let's actually see the skills in action. Now you see, she summons this giant T-Rex who's already attacking. And she attacks at a range. She's a blast type character. Okay, let's reset. Restart skill preview. Skill 1, and he's already going behind. And he'll just go back and attack whatever enemy you are. Okay, her skills are more silly, but effective. It's just stunning. It's she's also, oh god, she reminds me of that one character. And her passives are going. And skill 4. Skill 4 pretty much basically is blinding the enemy. So yeah, Devil Dinosaur will attack whoever the heck he wants, which is, I guess it's a good and bad thing. Although I would say maybe in the oh wow, so you're essentially just stuck there, and you can't do a thing while you get you just basically get assaulted by bubbles. So, okay, so her movement speed isn't that great. Her movement speed isn't that great. Well, it leaves to be desired. So she probably won't be running away from characters that actually have speed. So it's gonna be hard to play a hit and run strategy. Be okay, well, Devil Dinosaur, go get him while I run away and spam. While I run away and spam status effect moves on characters. Anyway, let's look at our next character. Which is Karnak from War of Kings. Apparently he's related to Medusa and Black Bolt. So you can put him on a team. He looks, to be honest, he looks rather. The head thing looks rather weird. And I guess like if you make fun of it, he'll he'll just beat the daylights out of you. Well, you can put him on. Well, it's obvious like what teams he can be thrown on. I think. Anyway, his stats, like his stats are actually, like he's gonna be more of a physical attacker from the list of things. It increases all his leader passive is increase everyone's speed by 9%. His first passive, like 15% chance when attacking, he can ignore dodge. He can ignore dodge by 15% for 5 seconds and increases critical rate. And his tier 2 passive, whenever he uses Death Chop, he has a 70% chance to pierce the super armor and barriers. So that can pretty much be an anti-Sharon Rogers right there. Like that can pretty much be anti-Sharon Rogers, and he already is because look, he's a speed type, while Sharon Rogers is a blast type. Blast types are weak to speed types. Like he can essentially be like increases critical damage by 30%, increases guaranteed critical rate by 25%. So this guy could pretty much be the anti-Sharon Rogers to the game. Be the answer to people that have trouble with Sharon Rogers. Be the answer to their prayers. Yeah, like first one, physical damage and stun. Can like defense penetration, more physical damage, and physical damage and another stun. He like I don't know. Like let's actually look at his skills and see what he's capable of. Well, first, let's look at his normal attacks. Is that him? So his passives can kick in at a 15% chance. And it'll have to take a bit of time to cool down. So, his skill 1, there's a bit of a stun in there because it knocks the opponent into the air. And then let's see, skill 2. Oh, but who? And then skill 3. It's a flying kick. No, I think his passives reset. I don't think there's much of a cooldown on it. So, how far? Okay. Skill 4. Oh, wow. Okay. And his final skill. Oh, so let's see. Dude, that's a legit combo. Okay, so let me reset the positioning. Dude, like he could combo you to death and you wouldn't realize it. Like you could essentially he's definitely great for one-on-one purposes. Okay, so this guy is obviously pretty good, and I would have to say I have to say that he is very likely the anti-Sharon Rogers. Although Sharon Rogers still has those annoying buffs, he might be the one. He might be that one character that could just destroy her. Next character, Gorgon. I already picked him up because I did some of the special missions last night, which I am not happy about. I'll get into that with the next video. Anyway, his team passives, you can put him on a team of Lash and Medusa. Just put him with Medusa, or throw him with Inferno. He pretty much sits with any of the Inhuman characters. Kind of sad, to be honest, but okay. His first passive, he would honestly be great leading a Hulk team or anybody that mains physical damage, like Iron Fist. Be like on Iron Fist team and whatnot, or heck, maybe even the Spider-Man team. He would be like, he could actually work with that leader passive. His first passive, increases super armor and all defenses by 10%. Oh dear. Increases all speed by 7%. A fast super armor character. That can't be good. Honestly, I have to say, like, his sprite doesn't look that great. He looks like he's staring off into space. His tier 2 passive. Decreases all damage received by 15%. Increases skill damage by 20% and bonus by 15%. And enhances the effects of Reckless Rush, which is his other passive. Now, then you have his first one, which is physical damage. And then you have Mace Throw, which does stun and physical damage. War Cry increases damage dealt to supervillain type characters. Oh dear. So a supervillain killer. Maybe. By 5%. That's not much. And increases all defenses by 10% for 10 seconds. Decreases all speed by 5%. Applies to all enemies. And then can bind enemies. So that could honestly be pretty scary, but let's actually see how it works. He's a combat type. I think he's probably going to be the underwhelming one. He already has super armor. So his normal attacks is just His normal attacks is boring. His first attack is Okay, so basically he drop kicks you, then throws the mace at you, which will stun you, which will inflict the stun. Oh, so he does a backflip and just like does a roar. Or not. Like he backflips away from the enemy. Which might be useful, because it might be useful to dodge a couple of attacks, but maybe not. But it'll increase damage he deals to super villain type characters, and it'll increase his defense. I thought it would be capable of doing damage, but it's not. So it's not capable of doing any damage. That can be a bit underwhelming. That is it. So now, that would be good in timeline battles, because you basically will prevent the opponent from trying to run away from him. And then you have this, which now they're bind. And that hits a wide group. Okay, so his attacks are kinda eh. He can do good, he can do pretty well. I would see him doing well in story and maybe in timeline if he's if he's up against certain characters. Otherwise, he leaves a lot to be desired. And I just don't like the way he looks like in this sprite. He's just staring off into space, like, dude. Like, while his portrait is like, stop talking. His portrait is like just looking directly at me, like, stop talking about me, like that. And then we have Inferno, which the only way you're really going to acquire Inferno is that you do either like the biometrics thing. You do the biometrics thing, or you do special missions, and you get lucky enough that he becomes a shifter. He becomes an ally shifter for you. So he's a blast type character with obviously fire powers. The power of fire. Can increase fire resistance, which that's honestly not that big of a threat unless people are now running Dormammu, or you see some people running Dormammu, or people running the combat type Green Goblin or Red Hulk. I can't remember who else does inflict fire damage, but I think those are like the only three that pretty much come to mind that actually do fire type damage. So increases fire resistance by 50%. I don't see him as a leader. His first passive increases fire damage by 10%, and he becomes immune to fire damage. I think there's I think there's a world boss that does inflict fire damage, so that could be useful. Hot Streak increases all buffs in duration. Increases all buffs by 20% and duration by 30%. First one does fire damage. Second one, more fire damage, but does burn, which you don't really see a lot of until you hit the special missions anyway. Then more fire damage, but it guards for one hit for 3 seconds. So that's a good thing. So that's a good one. Then even more fire damage, and finally more fire damage than you can handle. Immunity to all damage for 2 seconds. Increases all attack by 5%, all speed by 5%, critical rate by 5%. Okay, so that's not too bad. It is kind of on the low end, but still, that's not bad. Energy attack of fire damage. Like fire, fire, fire. As for his teams, there's not really too many team bonuses he can be on that are beneficial. Well, that could be like really, like, unless there's some sort of secret that I don't know, which there hardly is. Anyway, let's see what his skills can do. This is going to be a long video, and I apologize. So, we already have his passes going, which, Blast type hero, and his normal attack doesn't exactly fire at a long range. First attack. First attack is kind of Second one. Okay. Honestly, I would like to. Honestly, he can work good with like a team that focuses on skill cooldown, or has a build that focuses on skill cooldowns. So that could actually work out in his favor. All right, skill 3. So you can go like so you go like 3 to 2. Three, two, one. Okay, so what is skill 4 here? How does skill 4 work? That looks like that looks like Dragon Ball Z. Jace's Crusher Ball. If you know what I'm talking about. And skill 5. Okay. So you could combine like skill 4 and 5. And skill 5 will pretty much fire at anybody that just happens to be in range. So let's see. We go 3, 4, 5, 2, 1. Okay, so like 3, 5. So what was it? 3, 5, 2, 4, 1. Okay, so I did it wrong. Reset. Five. Oh, did it wrong again. Although that did combo. I think. 3, 5, 2. Oh wait, I need to let the animation play out. 2. I did it wrong again. I hate it when I have ideas in mind for combos and I just never do it the way I'm thinking about it. So 3, 5, 2, 4, 1. Maybe. That might work as a combo. I don't know. But it looks like you can combine all the skills in one. Especially since with the cancel mechanic. With the canceling mechanic. This is an interesting character. Interesting character, but really, well, he could solo things. I just don't like the fact that he has to get up close to do damage. And then we have a new character, Crystal, who was apparently the sister to Medusa. Okay, so I just ended up clicking skill preview before I got the look. Hold on, I want to see what her passives are before we move on. Increases all allies' energy attack by 30%. That's not bad. She's also a blast type. 25% chance when attacking, decreases all enemies' resistance by 15% for 7 seconds with a cooldown time of 15 seconds. That's pretty good, pretty decent. Well, pretty good actually. Elemental Tempest increases all element damage by 15%, increases all debuffs by 10% and duration by 20%. So that's actually pretty good. Cyclone does energy attack and physical damage. Flame does fire damage, energy attack along with fire damage. Does cold damage, and my phone is going off. Where's my phone? Hello? Hello? I ended up having to stop for a damn telemarketer. God dang it. Sorry. Anyway, where was I? Can add cold damage. Okay. So, like, she's already sounding interesting. She sounds like the... I mean, if she was able to inflict poison damage. Like, if she... But this one sounds interesting. Entombs the enemy in rocks for 4 seconds. That sounds interesting. And she can inflict cold damage. But I don't see, like, freeze status. And as for her teams... And... Can be teamed with Black Bolt. Oh, it can be teamed with, what's his name? Can be also teamed with Iron Man. Huh? That name just goes like, what? I'm just sitting there like, what? So she can be teamed with Ronan. Who honestly is a pretty good character. Okay. Let's see. Decreases co-op skill cooldown time by 30%. So that means like she could do world boss raids. She could essentially do world boss raids with no problem. Maybe. I don't know. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. First skill. Okay, so she'll shoot fire and cold damage. Now, second skill. Interesting. Third one. Whoa. Last one. And they're all stuck in rock. And she can guard against 5 hits. Not only that, she can pretty much combo anything, especially once she hits with her 5th skill. So that pretty much makes her a pretty big threat. That can make her a pretty big threat in the game to fight against. So that's a character worth going for, I would say, in my opinion. I mean, it's like she shoots at a bit of a range as well. Even if her shots are kind of slow, I would say that she needs ignore dodge. She would need ignore dodge or something to stop her enemies in their tracks, so she doesn't have issues trying to hit them. Also, one of the more interesting characters I looked at yesterday, Maximus, who apparently is all evil, and apparently the brother of Black Bolt. Decreases like his first leader passive decreases debuff duration by 24%. That might be useful, might not. I don't really see much of a use for it. Mad Scientist. This is the skill that I liked. Increases damage from skills to machine type characters. Okay, that I can ignore. But summons an illusion with 32% of the summoner's stats. Like, what? Then you have tier 2. Increases damage to superhero type characters by 15%. 20% increase to all attacks and defenses of summoned characters. 15% increase to HP and 10% duration increase of summoned characters. First one, energy attack, like an energy attack. Second one, another energy attack, but can paralyze the enemy. Next one, Shocks enemy, deals shock damage, and also adds lightning damage. You can guard against one hit. And this one summons it summons another illusion. Like, what is with this? Like, is this pretty much just, oh well, let's summon as much as we can now type deal? And then another summon illusion, or really just a striker. As for team bonuses, can be part of, like, even be with Loki of all characters, and that's a dangerous combination because Loki's a really good character. Can be with Hulk as well, which is that's a dangerous combination. Can be with Proxima Midnight and Black Panther, or be with Proxima Midnight and I can't think of his name. Like, what? Anyway, preview, like, to show off his skills. So, with his leader passive going, he already has two little robots just basically doing attacks. Now, then you have this one. Dude, like, he can solo most stages with most of these attacks. Now it's like paralyzed. Like, he has good range and good firing ability. Then you have this, and he even gives his strikers like the ability to like guard a hit. Then you can summon this guy. So you summon this guy, and then just be like, phew. Like, dude, he just summoned a bunch of crap all at once, and then you have these. So essentially, like, you could throw everything out there and be like, fight, like, air. Dude, in Battle World, this would be dangerous. I wonder if you could, like, I wonder if you would be able to kill the game if you had, like, if you had him, Loki, Ultron. Who else summons illusion? Like, who else summons extra characters? Like, if you had just an entire team, like, if you just had an entire team on the field that summons extra characters. That's what made me, like, put in some biometrics to go get this character, because I was like, oh my god, this character seems awesome and I want to go for it. So him and Crystal is like probably one of the two is the two characters I am most interested in. I have a small bit of interest in Inferno, but we have yet to look at one more character. And this is a good and bad thing, because he is pretty much in that same level as Doctor Strange. He's on that same level as Doctor Strange. Because when you get him, he has his tier 2 passive starting out. So take that into account. And it's Dormammu. Still looking great after all these years. Although I have seen him in what was it? Marvel Contest of Champions, and he looks weird in that game. So he can increase all defenses for all his allies by 24%. His first passive is basically like Groot's, where he can revive. He'll revive with 100% max HP instead of 50 like Groot does. That already makes him valuable. Has a cooldown time of 300 seconds. So he can essentially get back in, so he can essentially revive again if you could manage to survive for, say, if you could survive for 5 minutes, he could pretty much do it again. Then his tier 2 passive, they really should just swap these two, to be honest. I don't know why. Like that would make a lot more sense. Then he probably wouldn't be in this tier, in this problem tier. 25% chance of attacking, he can remove. Well, when attacking, he can remove all debuffs from himself and increases his max, and he can recover HP by 20%. With a cooldown time of 7 seconds. First one, fire damage. Second one, more fire damage, but it also binds enemies. Next one, laser energy damage. Then back to fire damage, but he can also reflect. He can reflect 10% of the damage received. 50% of his max. 50% of the maximum attack. Like, and it applies to all allies. What is this? Then Dark Dimension. Fire damage again. And to see his team list. Essentially put him on a Marvel vs. Capcom 3 team with Hulk and Doctor Strange. Or put him with Doctor Strange team. Put him with Hellstorm. Put him with Odin of all characters. Yeah, he's pretty much teamed up with anybody that's like associated with Doctor Strange in a way. Although no Thanos. Anyway, let's actually see his skill. I'll explain what makes him problematic to get in a second. First, normal attack. So he does that. And he can remove all debuffs from himself by doing that. It's fairly fast. First attack. Pushes the enemy back. And and hits multiple times, as well as leaving a fire trail. Second one. A double attack. Okay, no, it's not. I thought it was double for a second. I'll be like, okay, that's broken. But no, it's he's already binded his opponents. Nothing they can do. Third attack. Dude. What? Just he just hit everything on he pretty much just killed like everything on screen with that. Then you have the fourth one, which is like, oh. And he can just float into random enemies. They just be like, oh, I got a shield and you don't. Haha. And his last one turns into this giant freaking skull. Giant raging skull. So let's see, 2. Okay, so it will actually take some time. So you can pretty much combo anything from 2 because it will stun. Like reset. So let's go 2. Or like 2. And like now you just pretty much made them get away from you. Dude, he's obviously that OP character that you have to put in work to get. Just like Doctor Strange. However, he has issues. You have a huge issue to deal with in terms of trying to acquire him. You have to complete the Ruler of the Dark Dimension quest pack, which is a new thing in special missions to actually get him. And even then, that has issues. Because let me go over here and show you. See this quest pack here? This is the quest pack. It's basically a list of objectives, just like with Doctor Strange. You have to complete a list of objectives in order to unlock him. And the worst ones to actually unlock him are here. Clear a hidden route 50 times, clear a hidden route 100 times, hidden route 150, hidden route 200 times. And to make it worse, you gotta deal with this. Is this even enough biometrics to actually get him? I mean, it's enough biometrics to unlock him, but would this even be enough biometrics to actually rank him up to 6-star? To a 6-star rating? And then you look over here in the War of Kings. Yeah, it's like, is this even enough? Or is there something, or is there some secret in terms of unlocking Dormammu? There is another secret towards that. So that'll end this part of the video. So part 2, I'll show you another thing that has been pretty much frowned upon in terms of the Marvel Future Fight update. See you then.